What's going to happen to factory workers is a huge question right now. Oxfam released a report this week saying that 500 million people in the world who are already poor could be pushed into dire poverty, meaning into starvation or the brink of starvation because of coronavirus. And brands, by not paying for the goods, are pushing people faster into that position, right? And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being dramatic. Garment workers, almost all of them already live hand to mouth. So if factories can't pay them, we're talking about people going immediately into destitution. It's not like a slow descent into poverty. It's like that you can't feed your family, you can't put food on the table, you can't afford where you live. What the industry is doing is creating a humanitarian crisis.
Hello, my compassionate fashionistas. Today, we're gonna get real. And I know I like to keep it real with you guys, but we're gonna get like real. We're going to talk about some heavy stuff. As we all know, COVID-19 has wreaked havoc all across the world, both in terms of lives lost and in the economic fallout. We're all feeling it, but there is one group of people that is disproportionately suffering, and yet again, we're not paying attention to them, and that is garment workers. There are an estimated 50 million garment workers worldwide who are not only out of jobs, but are being cheated out of money that they already earned, because a lot of brands out there are choosing just not to pay factories. Recently, I spoke with journalist and author Elizabeth Cline. Y'all, get ready to get really mad. But don't worry, all hope is not lost. There's something that we can do right now to solve this problem.
Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Hi, Benita. It's really good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to see a face other than my cats and my husband.
Same. I hope that my cat comes in at some point, though, and joins us. She probably will.
So for anybody who's watching who maybe doesn't know how brilliant and amazing you are, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
Sure. My name is Elizabeth Cline. I am a journalist and the author of 2 books. The first was Overdressed, The Shockingly High Cost of Cheap Fashion, which came out way back in 2012. And then more recently, I put out a book called The Conscious Closet, The Revolutionary Guide to Looking Good While Doing Good, that just came out this past August. So yeah, I write about ethical and sustainable fashion.
Yeah. And fun fact, your book Overdressed is actually what got me into ethical fashion in the first place.
Really, that is so humbling to hear and amazing.
I wanted to talk today because I keep hearing about this pay up campaign, and it sounds really good, but I don't know a whole lot of it. Like, what is this pay up campaign about?
The pay up campaign is about holding large brands responsible for their orders in supplier factories around the world. As most people are probably aware, a lot of people are in quarantine right now. People aren't buying clothes, and the fashion industry is struggling. But the question is, who is going to kind of pay for that struggle? And what brands are doing is essentially putting the financial burden of the fallout from coronavirus onto their factories. Brands aren't walking away from future orders. It's not that they're canceling future production. They are walking away from huge multi-million-dollar orders of completed and in-process goods.
So let me get this straight. Large companies are choosing not to pay for things that have already been made?
Yes.
If I've already done work for somebody, like I already did the work. You should pay me.
This is wage theft.
How can brands get away with this? I just had a new floor installed in my kitchen, and if I tried to not pay the contractor, he would take me to court.
Brands are using kind of some contractual loopholes to try and get out of this, but they're misusing it. They say, well, we normally don't pay you until 30 to 60 days after receiving the shipment. But what they'll tell the factory is, don't ship the goods. So it's yet another way to get out of paying.
So sneaky.
What this shows is how much power the fashion industry has over factories and how quick they are to abuse that power. It also demonstrates that when the going gets tough, they don't see their factories as partners. They don't see garment workers as part of their workforce. They don't value their lives, essentially, because if factories aren't getting paid, workers aren't getting paid. And these are countries where the government can't supply a safety net.
What happens to the garment workers in that time?
What's going to happen to factory workers is a huge question right now. Oxfam released a report this week saying that 500 million people in the world who are already poor could be pushed into dire poverty, meaning into starvation or the brink of starvation because of coronavirus. And brands, by not paying for the goods, are pushing people faster into that position, right? And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being dramatic. Garment workers, almost all of them already live hand to mouth. So if factories can't pay them, we're talking about people going immediately into destitution. It's not like a slow descent into poverty. It's like that you can't feed your family, you can't put food on the table, you can't afford where you live. What the industry is doing is creating a humanitarian crisis.
It's really heartbreaking to hear just how quickly the situation is going to spiral out of control for these garment workers.
Yeah, I mean, there are an estimated 60 million garment workers in the world. And, I think most of them are either laid off or, their work hours have been cut in some way. That's a staggering number of people. And most of them do work in countries that don't have the same safety net that we do. And our safety net is not even that great. Bangladesh, for example, the government has put together a bailout package for its workers that amounts to about $150 one-time payment.
Okay, so you keep saying brands. What brands are we talking about here?
Most major brands have canceled orders at this point, and we're just labor rights groups are sifting through who's canceled and who canceled in process orders, who is going to fulfill their purchase orders. It's a little bit confusing, but here's what I can tell you. It's actually easiest to remember who is going to fulfill their contract. So these are the companies that are doing the right thing. It's H&M, Zara, Target, VF, which is the company that owns the North Face, Timberland, Vans, PVH, which owns Calvin Klein and Tommy, and then a Polish company called Kiabi. There is a much longer list of brands that are either saying we're working it out, or we are asking for discounts, or we're not sure what we're going to do, or they're not saying anything. So we're talking about, hundreds of thousands, millions, billions of garments that they're just saying, we're not going to take responsibility for this. We're not going to pay factories for it. And as a result, the factories can't pay their workers. Human beings do not act like that, right? But this is what sometimes these crises reveal, that corporations ultimately function to protect their shareholders. Their instinct is not to protect their workers. They're trying to shore up profit, And I think that most of them would say, oh, we're struggling. But then if you look at how much these companies like Walmart, Gap, Primark, these are companies that make a lot of money every year. They're very, very wealthy companies.
What can I do to help? What can I do right now?
Here's what you can do to support the Pay Up campaign. You can sign the change.org petition that Remake is circulating. You can also ask the brands Primark, C&A, Gap, and the retailer Walmart to pay up. Those are 4 companies that we're targeting right now. And you can also follow Fashion Revolution, Remake, and the Garment Worker Center in the United States to keep up with all of this great activism that's happening around garment workers, and like them, support them, and use your voice.
I love that. Everybody, we can use social media for good. We can use it for more than staring at cat memes.
I also want to point out that this campaign has already had some victories. We do have 6 huge brands that have already committed to fulfilling their existing orders. It's really significant that H&M and Zara and Target, those are 3 of the world's largest retailers and clothing companies, have committed to fulfilling these orders. And VF and PVH have also made those commitments. So that's huge. That's what we want to see.
In a time of feeling so powerless, with this virus and not knowing how it's going to go, it's really empowering to hear that I can actually take an action right now from the safety of my own home that is going to so positively impact the lives of millions of workers.
Yes, the reason that H&M and Zara and Target and VF and PVH have come forward and said, we're paying these garment workers, we're fulfilling these orders, is because of consumer pressure on social media. We have so much power over this issue. And we need to just use our voices right now and ask all of these other companies to pay up.
Thank you so much for explaining that so clearly and succinctly. I have to go sign a petition right now.
Yeah, me too. I think I'm just going to sign it again, pass it around. Yeah.
Didn't I tell you that was going to make you mad? Oh! Large corporations taking advantage of workers makes me so angry. But we got to channel that anger into a positive action. So right now, go to the change.org petition. Link is going to be down below. Make sure to sign it. Make sure to share it. Follow Remake and their Pay Up campaign on Instagram and Twitter. Tell all your friends about it. Let's take care of the millions of women out there who clothe us every day. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'll do a slightly more fun video next time because I know this one was really heavy. Please like and subscribe down below, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.